Hey everyone, it is late at night and I'm Norman. I've owned the F77 Ace watch for quite a while now, and I still haven't done a review of it. In fact, I have a whole list of watches that I really do need to do reviews of. But I've been having fun doing all kinds of other types of videos, so I think it's time to start remedying that. So tonight we're going to do a full review of this amazing watch. So let us begin. And here is the F77 Ace Jewelers collaboration watch. Before I purchased this, I actually owned a different F77, the one with the carbon fiber style dial on it. That was a no date like this one is. But what I liked about this one when I saw it is the smooth dial. Because as you can see with the F77s, there's a lot going on, which isn't a bad thing. But I feel like having a textured dial like that just was a bit too much. And the more minimal dial that's on this one, I think, really complements the rest of the watch's design. And I actually like that pop of red. It's kind of fun. So beginning with the clasp, there is a ton of micro adjustment, which is great. You can really get this thing dialed in and fitting properly. Everything is milled and proper. 2 buttons to secure it, some branding on it, brushing and polishing. The bracelet itself is brushed with some polishing on the sides. Now, one thing to be aware of, Nevada Grenchen really likes to use a lot of Loctite on the screws of their bracelets. I ended up having to take this in to my mall jeweler, watch guy, to have him size it because, yeah, it was crazy. And a friend of mine and neighbor actually owns the same exact watch, and I believe when he got it, he just took it in straight away to that same guy to have the bracelet adjusted. And it might be a good idea to do similar if you get one of their watches. And as you probably know, this is an homage to a watch that they used to make. And I believe even those watches had this little insert here. So it's not really an integrated bracelet, but it has that aesthetic. So you can remove this piece here, and if you have a 14 millimeter wide out to 22 millimeter wide strap, you can use that on this watch. But I kind of like the integrated bracelet look, so this isn't gonna go anywhere. The case itself looks really thin, mainly due to the design of the case. So you can see that this comes down a bit, but what you're really seeing is this thin bit here. If we look at the other side, so it's polished on the sides. And here is what the case back looks like. So it's screwed down, solid case, deep etching on there. The branding looks pretty good. And this particular watch is a limited edition. So this is number 49 of 50. But, yeah, they're still available on the Ace Jewelers website. And they've been out for a long time. I think I got this back in July. And my neighbor got his, I think, a month or two after that. And yeah, they haven't sold 50 of these yet. That seems a little suspect, but what do I know? I love the shape of the underside of this case, how it's kind of concave there. And we have some more branding on the crown. This is a screwed down crown. Let's see what that's like to use. Pop this out. And the watch hacks. And it feels really nice when you're setting the time. There's a proper amount of resistance there. We'll pop this back in. When you're winding it, there's actually quite a bit of resistance there when you're doing that action, but it's pretty smooth feeling. We'll screw this back in. The threads catch really well. Yeah. And the top of the case is brushed. Same with the top of the bezel. But around the edge of the bezel, it is polished. And you can see there's some visible screw elements here. Kind of royal oakish. But they're very subtle on this watch. I was a bit concerned that that might bother me when I bought the first F77 that I owned, but it really doesn't. The crystal is amazing on this piece. We have a box crystal. The markers are applied, and we have a subtle minutes track around the edge there. I feel like the text isn't too bad on this. We just have a couple lines up here and a couple down there. And I mean, F77 done in that font just looks amazing. Now there is some lume on this watch, but it is not great, which is sad because there's little bits of lume on the indices on the outside. And at least with the Nevada Gentian Antarctic, those ones actually look kind of creepy when they're glowing, but it doesn't last. Let's do a time lapse and you'll see what I'm talking about. Not a whole lot of lume on these. As for the specifications on this watch, the case size is 37 millimeters, the case height is 12.6 millimeters, the lug to lug is 45 millimeters, and the lugs, kind of a unique deal there because it's sort of integrated, and like I mentioned, the actual lug width is 14 millimeters, but the bracelet starts at 22 millimeters. And tapers down. The water resistance is 100 meters. The movement inside this is a Soprod P024 caliber 2. Now, as much as I love this watch, there is one thing that is kind of troubling about it, and that is the wingspan. With this design, it is very wide. Even though it's a 37 millimeter watch, it will completely cover your wrist. And I will demonstrate that now. Let's see what this looks like when you're wearing it. Let me take off the Tudor. So amazing. Such a great looking watch. Let me take this off and we'll see what the Ace F77 looks like when you're wearing it. And there it is on my 7-inch wrist. Now my wrist is 55 millimeters wide, and you can see that wingspan in action there. It kind of sticks up a bit over here. But if you adjust the links on your bracelet right so it sits kind of in the center of your wrist, that helps a lot. Just kind of helps it to sit better. But other than that, I absolutely love everything about this watch. So amazing. And yeah, I have had this for a while. I mean, I did have to send it in for servicing, and that took some time to get back, but there is no excuse for doing a review this late. But absolutely gorgeous. Super cool looking watch. I love it. There you have it, the F77 Ace Jewelers collaboration watch. I love that smooth dial, just so great looking on this piece. And it's doing great after I had it serviced, because it wasn't doing great. Thanks for watching.